Okay. Hi, my name is Cana Roach. In 8th grade, I took a service trip to an urban farm with my class. At first, it kind of felt like a punishment because I didn't really understand the effects that it had on a community. Urban farms provide fresh and healthy produce to people living in food deserts. What is a food desert? A food desert is an area where grocery stores selling affordable and healthy food is too far from a convenient traveling distance for someone to go to. So after learning a little bit about this issue, I decided to do some research. I found out that Atlanta is the third worst urban food desert in the country, and 1 out of every 4 Atlantans are living in a food desert. Food deserts are more prevalent in non-white neighborhoods, and people living in food deserts are more likely to die from nutrition-related illnesses like diabetes or heart disease. Urban farms are changing this by providing the community with education on healthy eating. They're providing them with fresh and healthy produce that they have access to. So the first interview I conducted was with Nuri Ikgoran and Ralph McDonald at Urban Sprout Farms. The second interview I conducted was with Bobby Wilson, the CEO of Metro Atlanta Urban Farm. The third interview I conducted was at Aluma Farms with Andy Friedberg and Andrea Ness, the co-founders and farmers at the farm. And the last interview I conducted was at Free Will Farm with Brent Hall, the founder and a farmer at the farm. So on the left is a map of Atlanta and all the different locations of the farms. On the right is a food desert in Atlanta and locations of the farms in the food deserts. So as you can see, all these farms are either inside or right outside of a food desert, which is helping them change the fact that so many people live in food deserts and helping those living in food deserts. So after these interviews, I began to empathize. I found out that all of these farmers are very passionate about farming and that they want to help their community improve their health and learn more about nutrition. However, some issues that they faced was the lack of financial resources, the lack of understanding of the community about urban farming, but the biggest issue was the lack of volunteering. So I defined the problem. The problem is the lack of volunteering. This results in less positive impacts on the community, which in return, those living in food deserts suffer. So my solution to this problem was a school volunteering club at Lovett to send about 20 students to volunteer for a day at an urban farm. This would be a recurring program, but they would go to different farms each time. In this case, both sides would benefit. The farmers would have assistants at their farm, and the students would be able to learn the importance of urban farming. The feedback that I got from these farmers was that they all agreed that this program would help them greatly. In the past, programs like these have been extremely successful. They were all very eager to set up dates. So in the future, how I plan to take this is I plan to start a service club at my home school, Lovett, to send a group of students to urban farms over the weekend. These trips would happen about every 2 weeks and would be at different farms in the Metro Atlanta area. And these are my sources. Any questions? Yes?
Do the farms, when they need volunteers, do they need daily volunteers, or what could 20 people do in one day that they would need help with?
Most of the farms I talked to, well, when I went there in 8th grade, what we did was a lot of like heavy lifting work that required a lot of people. So it was like moving a lot of like rocks and trash and like clearing out areas for farming. But other farms that would require like daily work would be like tending the plants, but that doesn't require as many people. Anything else? Yes?
Do you have, or have you thought of a way to educate people who actually live in food deserts? Because sometimes people don't even realize, like people who live in those areas don't even realize that it's considered to be a food desert. So like a lack of education probably leads to the health-related illnesses you were referencing earlier. So have you thought of a way to educate the people who live in those areas?
I'm not really focusing on that, but some urban farms are kind of educating people who live in food deserts, like that they live in food deserts, and they're helping those people like make the best of their situation by giving them or providing them access to fresh and healthy produce. Okay, anything else?
Deliver?
Excuse me?
Do any of the farms deliver?
Actually, some of them do, but a lot of them just have farmers markets every month or so. Yes.
You know, one thing we talked about was that you did this, you told us that you did this in 8th grade, and it was miserable. You thought it was like a prison sentence. So the question that I have, and we've talked about, but I hadn't really heard, what would you do to make this experience less onerous to the kids who are volunteering, such that you could have an ongoing repetitive program?
So in this case, it wouldn't actually be like kind of forced service work. It would be a club so people can join if they're interested in this topic and issue. And they, because I mean, clearly people who aren't as passionate about this are not going to want to put in as much effort, but people who are passionate are definitely going to want to help more. Yes.
Would the program be open to families, siblings, parents who wanted to come and help as well?
Well, right now I'm just thinking about the students because that would be a lot less complicated, but maybe in the future it could be open to families and such.
And I guess my question was similar to that, in that if you look at not having a gardening club at your school is great, but your students probably don't live in food deserts. So could you partner with urban schools to have partner clubs? So a school, you know, a club like yours with a club at Douglas may begin to get at the heart of how to start the education process for the community.
Yeah, that would definitely make it a lot more impactful, I think.
That's actually a great example. You all may remember last semester we had North Atlanta students partnered with Lost and Found Youth so they can build a collaborative cooking program. And that was a neat way to bring communities together.
Okay. Yes?
Not a question, but just a comment, because it seems like there's a lot of people who are interested. There's also programs called Garden Angels that different farmers associations, whether it be Westside Works or Westside Farms, Gangsters to Growers, they team up with seniors to help them grow in their yards. And so this is an education process where it's volunteering with seniors. They're actually getting produce being grown in multiple places. Because one of the bigger issues is that there's not enough land. And so it's more than just the volunteering that's significant, but it's also not enough available resources to grow your inventory. And so if you can do it in different yards, you can kind of diversify what's being grown. And some of those seniors are even now taking their produce and having them used for value-added products that are being sold at Whole Foods. But from a volunteering standpoint, it's an interactive process. And I know that they're always looking for volunteers as well. So it could be a situation where if you're a grown-up or your family or whatnot wants to be part of that, they're always looking for outcomes.
And what's your name?
Shanae Joseph.
Thank you.
Okay.